Welcome back to Hawkeye Skunk Works. Thanks for tuning in today. I'm sorry I haven't been posting videos for a couple weeks. I've just been crazy busy doing everything else besides making videos. And for the most part, things that I would rather not be doing instead of making videos. But we'll get on with that. We are going to talk about, the Explorer mostly today, kind of. I've been getting a lot of questions about the Ford Brown Wire mod, and so I'm going to kind of go over that today in depth without being incredibly boring and without being too long. So let's start talking about that. So the Brown Wire mod, essentially, there's lots of bugs outside. The Brown Wire mod basically takes, for the Fords, and this may apply to other brands. I honestly don't know. I'm sure that there's stuff out there. I will talk about some of the other things that I own and how it doesn't apply to that. So, the Fords that have the auto four-wheel drive, or anything close to that. Not all-wheel drive, the auto all-wheel drive. This 02 has it. I had a 97 Explorer Sport that had it. So basically you have like an auto, a 4 high, and a 4 low. So the way that works is everyday driving, essentially you're in 2 high. There's only torque going to the back wheels. There's only power getting put to the back wheels. Since these and most everything these days don't have locking hubs, your front axle shafts and your front drive shaft are all connected and they're all spinning back to the transfer case. And when you're in that auto mode, and you're not in a limited traction situation, yes, that stuff is spinning, but there's no power being put to it. The transfer case, as far as the front half of your drive is concerned, is basically neutral. So it's all just spinning. There's no power going to it, but yes, it is spinning. The way that the auto works in these is that with speed sensors and ABS sensors and whatever, the computers, when those back wheels spin, the car knows that and engages that transfer case and sends torque to the front wheels, making it four-wheel drive, all-wheel drive on demand until you're let off the gas and back into the traction situation. It just sends torque to the back wheels. I hope that makes sense. What the Brown Wire mod does, it basically kills that. So there's one wire that essentially more or less controls that, so that if you cut that wire and you spin the back wheels continue to spin. Also, if you were to cut that wire and then put it into 4 high or 4 low, you wouldn't have four-wheel drive. So what the mod is basically you're cutting that wire and putting a switch in it. Some people do use relays. I've never used a relay. You just cut that wire, send one half to a switch, and then send the other half of the switch to the other half of the wire. So when that is off, essentially you have 2 high. And why would you want to do that? To do massive burnouts or to do really awesome donuts. That's pretty much it. There's some other reasons, but we won't worry about that. I did it really because I wanted to be able to do donuts in the snow. That's pretty much why I did it. Because if you don't, then your four-wheel drive will engage and you have to do an all-wheel drive donut, whatever. So it applies to the Fords. I had somebody send me a message a while back and want to know if they could do this modification to their Grand Cherokee, their WJ. Well, no. The WJs, let's just use that for an example as a different brand. Like my Grand Cherokee that I have, there was 2 different versions. There was basically an all-wheel drive version that you had all-wheel drive and you had 4 low. And then you have the version that I have that has essentially a 4 high, an all-wheel drive, a 2 high, and a 4 low. So you have 2 high already. You don't need to do a brown wire mod to that. It's the same setup. There's no locking hubs, so no matter what mode of drive you're in, those front axle shafts and the front drive shaft are still spinning. And if you're not in a four-wheel drive setting, there's no torque being applied to them. When I say torque, I mean there's no power being sent to the front wheels from the transfer case. So it's pointless to do that. And if you, in a WJ, for example, or even if you had a V8 4th gen 4Runner, they have essentially the same thing. They have an all-wheel drive and a 4-low. So you might be able to do a brown wire type mod to a 4th gen because it's an electronically controlled transfer case. The WJ's has a stick shift for the transfer case, so that doesn't really apply. So that's why you would do that. And it applies to all different kinds of Ford models. I don't have a list of them. Chances are, if you have a Ford 4-wheel drive model that has a auto 4-wheel drive or something around that, not all-wheel drive, auto 4-wheel drive, you can probably do that mod to it. And again, pretty much just so you can do burnouts or donuts. Yes, some people are like, if you had something that like a camper or a trailer that you needed to move around in a tight space that you wanted 4-low torque, but you didn't want 4-low torque steering, you could flip that switch, turn your 4-wheel drive off, you would interrupt that signal, and put it in 4-low, and you would have basically 2-low. So you'd have 4-low going to the back wheels, you'd have that torque, but your front wheels would be free to steer more freely. So that's kind of what that means. There's tons and tons of write-ups about this online. In my 3rd gen Explorer, I pulled the brown wire out of the kick panel on the passenger side footwell. My 2nd gen, my 97 Sport, the wire ran kind of underneath the door sill of the driver's side. And literally all I did was cut it, splice the wire to the end coming out of the chassis, ran it to a switch, ran the other side of the switch back to the other wire. When it's off, it is true 2-wheel drive. No amount of wheel spin is going to engage that 4-wheel drive system. And when you turn it on, it still will only engage if you have wheel spin. So I hope that makes sense. The whole thing with not having lockout hubs and stuff, it doesn't improve your gas mileage. So I think there's a lot of misconceptions about that. Those axle shafts and that front drive shaft are still being spun by the rotation of the front tires. That still is rotating mass that is having to be turned. There's just not power being applied to it. So it's still dragging on your power and your horsepower. Like the Mountaineer versions of these, or the V8, the 5-liter V8 2nd gens, all had an all-wheel drive system. I don't know that you could. I don't think that you could do the same mod to those. I don't know for sure, because those are all-wheel drive and there's still being torque applied. There's being power applied to those front wheels. So if you have one of those versions, maybe you want to look into that. I hope that kind of clarified. I know this wasn't real interactive video, but I always get questions about that, and so I just wanted to lay it out kind of all in one video, what it meant and what it was about. So again, there's tons of write-ups about it. I think it applies, maybe to some Rangers, to some F-150s, I think. I had a 97 F-150 that actually was 2 high, 4 low, so that didn't make a difference. Again, no lockouts, so that stuff was all spinning, but there was only power applied when I put it in 4-wheel drive. Some of the early mid-2000s F-150s, I think, had auto, but they had vacuum-controlled. Some of them had vacuum-controlled hubs that kind of acted like lockouts. So again, may or may not be a pointless modification. So if you guys have any other questions, feel free to comment down below and you guys can have a discussion, or I'll answer them the best I can. And you can email me, hawkeyeskunkworks@gmail.com, if you've got real in-depth question. I'll do my best to answer. But anyway, I've got more videos coming. Actually, me and Joe tried to film a Tacoma video last week. That didn't really work out. We do some more stuff, and we'll get that brought to you. But I've been working on a ton of stuff. Well, if you want to see, I can show you. So I've got all new catback exhaust for the 4Runner, the 4th gen. Nothing special about that. Mine was just rotten. You're what?
We're catching lightning bugs, and I made a chart. Right now, we've been getting 8, and my mom's been collecting them. I've been charting and spotting, and Harper's been a lake carrier. See ya on the trailer. Bye.
Never a dull moment. The front axle of the Jeep is still sitting there. That has really taken aside, and I'm really disappointed about that. I want to get that done, but it just has not been a priority, unfortunately. I've got, so that's the exhaust off the Explorer. So we can get the transmission out. That's a bad transmission. That's the new transmission. I'm swapping some stuff over, and just, again, time. I finally got all my 4 brand new Takeoff Rubicon BFG mud terrains for the 4Runner, and I have a good used spare. I need to find a set of wheels still. That's the transfer case for the Explorer. That is a front diff for the 4th gen, and that's got the early 4th gen 391 gears in it. I still am trying to find a decently priced, decent mileage rear diff, torque converter, skid plates. I've been working on, those are the factory skid plates again for that, and I've been working on building some skid plates, which I'm super stoked about, and I think you guys are going to enjoy that, because that doesn't have to just be a 4Runner thing. That can kind of carry over to a lot of other stuff. Here's anybody need a transfer case for a 3rd gen? Transmission's already spoken for, but that's the drivetrain minus the motor that came out of the Joe's Red 4Runner, which is going in my 3rd runner project, which eventually will be for sale. Oh, so much stuff. And yeah, this painted my grill and did some lights and just some other random stuff. I did, so I have the roller rack on here that had the middle wind deflector, and I always hated that it didn't go out to the side, so I ordered some 1/8" ABS plastic off Amazon, made myself some templates, screwed it on there, used the heat gun to bend it over, and it looks awesome. You can't even tell that it's not one piece, and the wind noise is way down, so super happy about that. Anyway, I guess I will wrap the video up now. I really appreciate all you guys' support. Even this kind of couple weeks where I haven't had any videos, people have been emailing me and commenting on stuff and sending me messages with questions, so it's been great. I just gotta find time to get stuff done, which is the problem. If I had somebody to film for me like all the time, I'd probably put more videos out, but I'm not complaining that it's hard work. It's not hard. Tedious, maybe. Hard, no. So anyway, other than that, head on over to Instagram, follow me there because I'm constantly posting stuff there. And head on over to Facebook, follow me there, same stuff. The girls are going crazy over lightning bugs. You're fine. Don't be sorry. We're gonna do some more camping and coming up, and I'm getting so excited to go to ATR and trying to get stuff ready for that, but trying not to wish my summer away also. So hit the subscribe button, hit the thumbs up button if you would. I really appreciate it, and turn the notifications on because that's important too. So other than that, thank you for stopping by. Thank you for watching. Thank you ahead of time for all the comments and for subscribing. Until next time, take care. Goodbye.